him before.
You both have, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. I was waiting on Justice to say something.
I've seen you before, and I think, didn't I just interrupt your interview?
I wouldn't say you interrupted it. I would say that you came in to say hi to a friend, and it happened to be during my interview.
Well, I apologize nonetheless.
Yes, we all three of us I've spoken to each of you guys before, but moving past that. So I have a lot of questions, but I have an individual question for each of you first.
Okay.
For Sydney, I am curious, what is it like having White Lotus air each week and the amount of texts you get from friends like asking, please explain this to me. I need to know what's going to happen.
My response every single time is you have to wait till the ending. It's incredible. I mean, the amount of people who have just analyzed that show to the degree that it has, it's incredible, scary at the same time, but it's rewarding in a sense.
Sure. Justice, my question for you is, I was a little nervous about this Dungeons and Dragons movie, but because John and John are helming it, I am way more optimistic and believe this is going to kick ass. Can you just sort of talk about what it was like being part of that project and working with, because both of those guys are so talented.
Yeah, they're incredible. They're so funny and they have such a clear vision. I loved Game Night. That movie is so good.
So good.
It's so good, right? It's so funny and everything. It's such a clear, specific story. You know, it doesn't try to be anything that it's not. And I think they approach this the same way, where it's I can't spoil too much, but it's, you know, it's action packed and it's thrilling and it's funny as hell and it's all of the things and yet it has a clear idea, you know, and I think like that specificity is key in storytelling, and John and Jonathan do that so well, of just being like, this is the story we're telling, but then making it enjoyable the entire time. This is me not trying to spoil the movie in any regards. I've given away no details.
Listen, I firmly believe it's going to be something special just because of their writing, their ability behind the camera. But jumping into why I get to talk to you guys today, since making this movie, have you both found you are much more careful about closing blinds and being very cognizant about windows?
Yes.
I'm a little bit of an exhibitionist. So
he opened them all.
No, I don't mind opening the windows, but I have been like more hesitant on social media, and I think that's like another type of window into your life.
No, totally. I think that this film, while it's dealing with people supposedly in the real world, it's also making a comment about, you know, Instagram and the fact that we've all
it's our modern day voyeurism.
Yeah,
100%. And it's very addictive. It's just, that's a whole nother thing. But for each of you guys, what was it about the script and story that said, I totally want to do this?
There's so many aspects. I mean, every time I thought the script was done, it just kept going, and there were more and more that just happened, and the choices that Pippa made, the writing was just it's so smart and keeps you on your feet or your toes.
Keep you on your feet and your toes.
And your toes. And Mike also, I loved working with him before, so being able to work with him again was just, it's like a little family reunion.
Yeah, and it's also just so sexy.
Yeah,
it's just so great.
It makes you like feel a certain way.
Yeah, it feels good.
Well, what's interesting is that this is an erotic thriller, and and I talked about this with Michael and others, that it's weird that we are in a place where you can get away with doing the most violent stuff to people in a movie, totally fine. But if you're going to show sex or certain other things, it's like the chains come down.
You know what's crazy is Natasha and I were actually just talking about this because they had a CGI to make her underwear not a thong in the trailer.
Really?
And we were like, how is having to turn her thong into full-grown granny panties, but being able to see Ben's entire bare chest and tidy whities.
Yeah.
Okay, like where?
What is the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's so
I'll show you. It's
interesting.
crazy.
Yeah, weird. But yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like violence is kind of like built into our zeitgeist, like even like in children's cartoons, like
There's violence.
Yeah, it's violent, you know, but it's like, but if you show a thong, it's like that's
Tom and Jerry's all about them trying
like
to
you can kill each other, eat them, he's trying to kill them. But yeah, if you show a thong, like that's bad. When sex is just kind of like an expression of connection and at its purest form, it's a love language, but violence is never a form of love. You know, violence is never a form of connection. So I don't know, it's an interesting discussion.
No, it's effed up. But so if I'm not mistaken, Justice, this was your first time working with an intimacy coordinator. And I'm curious, Sydney, if you could talk a little bit about popping his cherry.
So listen, I just remembered in these interviews that this was the first time that I had an intimacy coordinator and I worked on an intimate scene like this. But I wasn't sure, but you just confirmed, because you've done your research, I should assume.
I have done some research.
So this is the first time I have worked with an intimate. No, you know what? I have done an intimate scene before, but it was before intimacy coordinators were thick.
That's sad.
I know. I just realized. I'm sorry.
I did not know. I apologize.
But but you did say this is his first time with an intimacy coordinator, so you can speak on that.
Well, he said, Sid, talk about that, right? Isn't that what you said?
I would say that Sydney should talk about popping your cherry, and you should. I'm obviously joking, but I am curious what it's like, because I think a lot of people don't realize what it's really like on set when you're filming these kinds of scenes and the delicacy that now takes place, where in the past that didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important to have someone there that's like in your corner and making sure everyone is comfortable and making sure that all boundaries are respected. But I don't like the word delicacy, because I think it's like treating it as if it's fragile and it's sensitive, where it might be, but I feel like an intimacy coordinator is more of empowering and technical and business oriented. Like
it's a business transaction.
It's like you're there to work, and like it's
choreographed.
Everyone is professional. And everyone is
There's nothing dainty really about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to make sure that we eradicate this idea that like when it comes to intimate scenes, everyone's walking on eggshells and everyone doesn't.
There's literally a guy holding a boom.
Yeah, it's like there. I think the beauty of the intimacy coordinator is they take all of that walking on eggshells away. And so it's like, if you do feel uncomfortable, you can just pull them aside and be like, hey, I don't know if I really want to.
Or they can sense it and they kind of speak up for you without you having to.
Whereas before, I think before it was more delicate, because before there was no one in your corner and you just kind of had to go with the flow of things. And that's how a lot of shitty stuff happens. Yeah.
No, completely. I mean, when you research Hollywood, you can hear horror stories.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the things, though, about this film, and you sort of touched on it, is that this film takes, how can I say this delicately? There's some big sort of twists and turns that take place in this film that I was not expecting. And I'm curious for the two of you, what is it like reading a script where all of a sudden things start happening, if you will, that you might not see coming?
I called Mike right away.
Really?
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is happening? Like, this is crazy.
I love that. Yeah, I signed on to the film after 40 pages because I just thought it was so good. I didn't even get to like the main twists and turns, but I was already so captivated. I was like, I have to be a part of this.
For both of you guys, I love learning about the behind the scenes, like stuff that you might not know. So I am curious, for both of you, what do you think might surprise people to learn about the making of the film?
Ooh, surprise people.
It's a curveball question.
We filmed it backwards.
We did film it backwards.
We filmed it backwards because they had to redress the entire apartment, both sides. So we filmed the entire thing backwards.
So so the first couple scenes was when the whole apartment was already furnished.
And then we slowly took things away.
Yeah. And then we shot the first scene last where the apartment was empty.
Yep.
I did not know that. See, this is what I'm talking about. My last question for you guys, it's an individual for each of you. Sydney, you have American Soul coming up, which I'm very curious about. And Justice, you know I'm going to ask about Jurassic. So what can you tease fans about that one?
Who's first? Wait, me?
Go for it.
Either or.
Jurassic, you know, what can this is that thing that we're talking about where
Like,
I don't know
can't
how
say
much.
anything.
Yeah, how much can I say? I'm back in the movie. I'm in it, and I still play Franklin, and he is. I will say there's an evolution to Franklin's character from Jurassic World 2 to Jurassic World 3, and that is what I will say. But it's all. I'll also say there's dinosaurs in it.
Oh,
Huge spoiler.
I'm still in the midst of Euphoria, so haven't been able to dive into anything else. But
yeah, I people might be excited for the second season of that series. It's possible.
Yes, I hope so.
I am.
Cool. Thank you for that. Wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.